Hey everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and another episode of the Indie Show. Tonight we are talking Wicked and Divine, Volume 6 and 7. So we're getting toward the end, only 2 volumes to go after this, so one more show. With me, as always, is my usual Wicked and Divine crew. We got Los. What is going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Good to be here, man. I'm ready to talk about this, man.
Yeah. we'll get there in a second. Let's get the rest of our crew introduced here. We have the Unruly Simeon, who is our Wicked and Divine experts. As far as I know, unless you and Todd have read ahead, the only one who knows how this ends at this point.
But just having read it and reread it does not make me an expert.
Nice.
And last but not least, we got Gorilla Todd. What is going on, man?
What's happening, JP? What's up, Los? What's up, Unruly? Good to see you guys.
What's going on, Todd?
I have not read ahead. Let me just I stopped at we're at 6 and 7. I am keeping pace with the prescribed order.
I will be honest, if I had volumes 8 and 9 in my possession, I'd have been hard pressed to stop.
If I had the time, I probably would have.
Yeah, so it was because
I will say I found myself thinking, when am I going to have time to quarters ending? I got to get grades in. When can I actually read 8 and 9? Because now the race has started on those.
Well, we got a little bit of time because I have ordered them, but they have not shipped yet. And I figure it's going to be like a month. It's going to be like a month before we come back to this. So just because of stuff I already have scheduled and that kind of thing. So
it gives me the chance to go back and reread and reflect and really get the whole.
And before we dig into these, I just want to say, like, not that this thing was slow or anything to start with, but shit got real.
Real quick.
Yeah. So, Los, your take on just in general on volume 6 and 7 before we get into details.
Overall, I like the direction that it took. It took a hard left, from like where it was. It was almost where you were kind of reading and like, okay, maybe it's headed in this direction, maybe it's doing this, and then it was just like, yeah, no, it didn't do any of that. It was like it just went sideways. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
But I like it. I like the twist element to it, and then the twist element to that twist. And like, so, I mean, it definitely kept you intrigued, and it was just like, okay. Yep, I'm digging it. And then you're like, oh, shit, okay. No, that's not what I was thinking. It's like, okay. But yeah, no, it was definitely, it definitely picked up the pace a little bit. And it just was like, oh, all right, I'm ready for the last 2 volumes.
Yeah, because I will say that they set up, there was a lot of mysteries kind of like set up through the first 5 volumes. And they gave us a lot of potential answers. Well, a lot of answers. There's still a lot of questions, but they gave us a lot of answers in these 2 volumes.
Yeah.
Todd, we'll go to Todd next because this is his first time reading. What did you think of these 2? What was your impression of these 2?
I just honestly, I love the fact that I felt like they paid off a lot of what was set up and created a lot of depth. The story, it really gave the kind of the world and what was going on depth.
Yeah.
And they built in they gave it that past, that history that really made you really start thinking about these characters and what they've gone through and what's happened in the past and what's happening now. But yeah, things just got crazy. Burning houses are getting burnt down. Heads are talking. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, there's a lot. What about you, Unruly? If you can even take yourself back to that, your impression rereading, or if you can remember your impression when you got to this point in the story the first time you read it, what do you think of these 2 volumes?
This story could be 1/5 as well written and as intriguing as it is, and with this art, I would be gobbling it up like green M&Ms anyway.
Yeah.
But see, my whole deal is when I went to college, right? As I'm sure probably a lot of us did. I majored in history. I minored in literature, and I had a side hustle. I would write you a paper, $10 a page, guaranteed A. So I wrote literally hundreds of papers for money, and particularly in literature. And if you've ever written, you know what they want. You know what the professors want. They want some kind of, well, the dichotomy between the main character and this minor character that you meet in page 47. You know, they want some kind of pull it out of your ass bullshit.
Right.
And I could do that with this. I could critique shit like this. But I'm a comic fan, man. I'm about story. And this story kicks ass, particularly because I don't know where it's going. This is the third time I've read it, and it still surprises me. And I love this. I love the hell out of that.
Yeah, it went directions I didn't expect. I thought I had some things figured out. I didn't. I thought I knew some of what was going on.
I literally feel like I'm lost as I'm reading it, but I can't stop reading it.
And like I said, if I'd have had 8 and 9 in my possession already, I would have just kept going when I got done Tuesday night. Which I'm glad I didn't, because so it makes it easier to talk about these 2 volumes. But first things first is we left off with in volume 5 with Sakhmet massacring a whole bunch of people. So we go right into the consequences of that happening and basically them looking for her. I just what do you guys think about her character and during this and how they portray her during all of this? I'm just curious. What do you guys thought about this her storyline and what she becomes and what she does? Todd, you want to go first? What do you think about it?
I'm not sure how to take her because there's all those times where she's like, I ate so and so, I ate my father, or I ate my friend, and is she being literal? Did she
I think she is. I think
cats are pretty much predators.
Mm-hmm.
They come from a line of predators, and it's almost like she's has this, almost like it's this break off from is she really is she more human or is she more animal? And so I just, even up until her very last scene, does she not kill Persephone because she loves her or cares about her, or is it can she control it? Is everything she does within her control, or is she just running on instinct? When she kills all those people, it makes me wonder. But I don't this is one of those things where I read it and I understand what's going on, but I don't think I understand what's going on another level. There's some that's why I want to start from 1 and reread everything again.
Yeah,
and kind of really give it a re-examination, and almost with the experience of having read through, 7 at this point.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think she's more she's just going to do whatever she feels. She truly is she's a cat god, and she truly acts like a cat in a lot of ways this is what I feel like I'm going to do right now. And she will turn on you and anybody who's had a cat and you're petting them and then suddenly they're attacking your arm. It's death to your arm. And it's where did that come from? And that is her. What do you guys think of her and her storyline? Unruly, we'll go to you, Nick.
She's a chaos engine.
Yeah.
And if they had any sense, they should have done away with her long ago.
Yeah.
But the cat comparison, it's apt. A cat is, when it wants to be loved, it's the most wonderful thing in the world. When it doesn't want to be messed with, then you best stay away.
Yeah.
And the character that intrigues me the most is still the protagonist, Persephone.
Right.
It's her arc that's really getting to me. Sakhmet is really the only one-note character amongst the gods that we've spent
a little bit, yeah.
With.
Yeah, she's purely just going to do whatever she wants, whatever makes her feel good, whatever she wants in any given situation. But I just thought it was I thought the way they played it out with her and how Persephone is like, Nora / Persephone is constantly like fighting, doesn't know what she wants. And we find out why, and we'll get to that in a little bit, why she's like struggled with her godhood like as much as she has. But Sakuma just like kills anybody and everybody and don't care. Like she says it at one point, like predator or prey, destroyer, and then she's like prey. And it's just like, but Loesch, what do you think about how they handled her and like what she does in this? Like, cause she kills Amaru.
Oh, she just murders. I mean, obviously the whole nightclub thing where they finds out the truth, thinks that everybody was lying to her or whatever, and kept it from her, and throws a joke, goes out and just murders a bunch of people, and then she's on the run or whatever. They're trying to find her, and she was kind of. They kind of made her out to be almost like a one-dimensional kind of character where it's just like, okay, this is what she is. She's chaos. I feel like she was, again, she had that like cat instinct of being like, hey, I want to do whatever I want to do. I can be loving, but I can also be like an animal at the same time. And I think she had moments where she could control what she wanted to do, but she also used her cat god instincts or abilities to kind of mask that and be like, you know what, it's the god in me, so I can't control it. I have to go crazy. And I'm like, maybe she could control it, but she just chose not to and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna let my base instincts go, and whatever it is, it is. And nobody can really fight me because she was basically one of the best fighters. And she proved that by beating the shit out of a bunch of people, killed one of the other gods and stuff like that. So
she almost killed Ball. I mean,
and on a sneak attack, and she still almost got his ass. So I think she had her moments, but I think she also relied upon that animal instinct god, and she was like, you know what? If anything happens, or I'm not to blame, it's this God that's in me and stuff like that or whatever. So I think she kind of fell back on that at times. Maybe she wanted to be better. And I think, with Persephone, the fact that she was struggling as well. And she's like, well, I don't give a shit. I don't care. So she kind of like gravitated towards her. It's like, well, I don't give a shit either. So we'll be perfect together kind of deal, which again, probably wasn't the best thing for her because it just let her just run wild. And that's basically what she did. Yeah. But yeah, she was definitely a wild card that probably should have got taken care of a long time ago, like Unruly said, because she gave into that baser urge way too many times, which they can all do, right? All the gods, they all had, these powers that they can give into at any time. But she chose to give into it a lot more than everybody else. So.
Yes, she did. We got Gore hopped in here earlier. What's going on, man? And John hops in and says he's way behind, which I will tell you, we're talking full spoilers, as you know, John. And you do not want to be spoiled on these two volumes.
Yeah, no, not these two.
Like, if you're interested in reading it, you don't want to be spoiled on these two volumes. That's already off, John. But yeah. Hey, Louis, what's going on, man?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we're into like some crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, it's intense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when she I'll be honest, like the scene where she kills Amaterasu or whatever, like I saw that coming the whole way. I was that was not like she was gonna do that. That was completely
Yeah, there was no way she was getting out of that. She's like, I'm the best runner. No, you're not.
No,
no, you're not.
She knew that
you're not running away from her.
Yeah, she knew that she had to get her to let her guard down, and that's what she did. And it was the other kind of big reveal in this volume is we get the truth about Wooden. Which is
yeah.
So what do you guys think of that reveal? Because I'll admit, I did not see that coming. Although the thing goes beep made me laugh. Like when they finally figured out what that was.
Yeah. I don't know what this does. It just beeps. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. This time we'll start with Unruly. What do you think about the reveal of Wooden and who he really is and where he's actually drawing his power from in this?
Well, you find out even more in the next volume how twisted Anake is.
Yeah.
Or how Machiavellian. She's just moving all these pieces on the board to suit her aims.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, we get that at the end. Start of that at the end. Yeah.
That whole sequence where she's interviewing him, and he's just sitting there, the boy who should be Wooten.
Yep.
The son.
The son. Yep.
There are those who bend and those who break. Which are you? I'm one who builds. That was not an option. I'm one who's never going to accept that the two options offered are the only ones. Oh, well, he's completely unacceptable. I'm going to go make a deal with his dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just, she is, well, and hell, she's been alive at this point that we know of 8,000, 10,000 years or longer.
Yeah, something like that.
Going through this cycle.
Yep.
I'm fairly confident that if you're a megalomaniac, which she was in her first incarnation, 10,000 years is only going to make you crazier.
Oh yeah.
Well, and we see some of that and I was going to get into her like that was going to be the next thing, but I wanted to cover kind of there was like 3 reveals in volume 6. Like we don't get the explanation for the last one until volume 7, but it's there's 3 storylines kind of. It's what they deal with Sakumet and her taking out and then we also have. So we lose 3 gods in this volume. Dionysus, Amaterasu, and Sakumet all bite it in this one. And but yeah, the reveal of Wooten and the fact that he was basically had locked his son up. His son had the power. He'd locked him up. He's actually, what was it, Mimic or Mimeric or
Mimmer?
Mimmer. That's He's a different god, but he's just portraying who he is, and it's just sick. I mean, the guy is just talk about another megalomaniac, and it's just So, Todd, what did you think of Wooten and the big reveal?
Well, I thought it was funny when they finally revealed that it's just the dad, and all along they've been making such a big deal about how he's obsessed with these super tall Asian women, and he's they just make it a point to show you how sordid and just his proclivities and you're and everybody's just a little creeped out by him, and as it turns out he's really not one of them.
No.
And he's even creepier because he's
they're all kids, and he's this guy who's probably 30 or 40 years older. I mean, I don't know how old he actually is.
I would say he's 40, 50, somewhere.
Yeah.
He's got a
50
20 to 30 year gap on him, and just the fact that he thinks he's doing his son a favor by having his head locked in a room so that he can use it to that's where he gets his power from. I mean, that's in and of itself to how do you rationalize that? Just kind of shows you how depraved he is.
Yeah. So what about you, Lois? What do you think about this whole?
Yeah, that was that reveal was a little jarring. It was unnerving, to say the least. To have, essentially they always choose children, right? They always choose teenagers, right? It's the easiest minds to essentially corrupt are teenagers, stuff like that. That's why the military stops at 27, because by that point you already have your own focus and we can't change this person because they're already there, but we get them early, we can mold them. So that's why they pick all these teenagers, I guess, and children. But he's a grown-ass man, right? And he's doing all these sick, demented things, and everybody's like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? It's creepy for anybody, but everybody was thinking he was a teenager, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, you're a grown-ass man doing? It's like, what's wrong with you? And then they find out that he's siphoning power, or he's has his son, which is basically just a talking fucking head on a robot body, and it's like, well, it's even more creepy, and oh, okay, it's like, so you just had him locked up in this room, sealed away. It's like, what is wrong with you, man? You're already twisted from the shit that you're doing outside, but then to know that you have your son locked away and just siphoning power from him, and you know, having him do things, and it's like, yeah, this dude is just, yeah, you're messed up, dude. It's like something is really wrong with you, man.
Because now we got to ask, what else is he capable of?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Anything. I mean, yeah, he's like, he doesn't have any morals.
No.
I will always say, like, maybe the funniest scene, like, and there's been a lot of funny stuff, is the two of them arguing and her throwing the beeping device at her, and then they figuring out how they find him. It's freaking hysterical.
They're like, oh, wait a minute, it's beeping more. Oh, hey, there's a wall back here.
Like, this whole sequence, for months, she just had this device that only beeps.
Yeah.
And she has no idea what it does. And they get over there, and when she opens it, I just love it. You're taking this calmly. And she's like, I'm not sure there's enough profanities in the universe.
And Cassandra, yeah, she's actually the oldest of all of them, right? You know,
Yeah.
she's probably like in her early 20s, where they're all like teenagers and stuff like that. So she's always like, oh, I'm the adult in the room, and you know, even though she's
And
really
she is
young,
so not.
and she is not. And she is the one that just throws out profanities left and right, and it's always like fuckity fuck. It's like, okay. It's like these fucking children. It's like you're like 4 years older than them. So
She's like 4 years older, and she's like, fucking, you know.
Oh, it's awesome.
And the at the performance, the battle between, or not really a battle, but you know what I'm saying, the little.
Oh, when Luton
Dionysus
steals Dionysus' power and kills him, yeah.
Well, turns him into a vegetable, basically.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
But that was a very well constructed, you know, couple of pages there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like the art, I mean, like,
Yeah, I thought that was a great page.
Yeah.
that page
Yeah.
is good.
Just
He went for it. He's like, you know what? The hell with this. I'm going for it.
I mean, and then you've talked about it, but yeah, like,
Oh,
the
yeah,
art
she just
is-
ripped out her throat. Yeah.
yeah, the art by McElvin in this is just remains amazing. I mean,
It's such clean, simple, but realistic line. I don't have the words to describe how much
Yeah.
I like this art.
And it's funny, if you look at a lot of the art in this, it's not very busy, right? There's not a lot of but
No.
everything that is there is nice and clean. It's in the forefront. You can see everything nice and clean. There's no like, you know, but it's nice and clean, and it's not like really busy where it detracts or, you know, takes your attention away, and you're like looking at the little corner. It's just like it's up front. You know exactly what you're looking at. But yeah, it's definitely
and
nice and clean. Yeah.
one of the things that really helps the art stand out is that it's all the art is very consistent throughout everything in the book. In other words, it's not like sometimes you get an artist who they're really good at faces and everything else kind of lags behind.
yeah.
But everything is like really drawn. The settings, the story. I've been liking the storytelling. I know I was a little critical of a couple pages early on, but I think the art develops that one scene when they first go into the Pantheon. But I really like how they've like the art has developed and just really sharp, crisp drawings and great detail. Like when the cat lady cuts that one girl's throat, like that shot that you just showed where she's just laying there in like a pool of blood, like
Yeah, it definitely seemed like the art matched the writing, right? As the writing progressively got more intense, the art got more intense, and it kind of flowed with it. It didn't like fall behind, where, you know, you're like, okay, the story is great, and then all of a sudden the art just like falls, and you're like, oh, this sucks. If this looked better, I mean, it would have portrayed better, you know, at the storytelling. But no, it's right on par with it. As the stories progress, the art is also progressed with it. So yeah, it's definitely been really, really good.
And I want to shout out, like, and which one? Who is Matthew Wilson, who's the colorist on this, because like we get, let me see, you get panels like like this. He's got all these bright colors and everything's like Technicolor. And then like 2 pages later, he does so much with like when they're in the underground and the dark and the black and like he just does a phenomenal job. Like on top of obviously the great lines and everything else, but the way they use color in this whole series is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pastels and brights and
it's a great range. He's got a great range.
Yeah, you can see too, like when they're above ground, it's really bright, vibrant, everything. But when they're underground, it is just dark and it's just like nothing. And all you see is a little bit of shadows, just a little bit of color, but it's nothingness. And it's funny where all the people that are the underground gods, right? They always say, "Oh, let's go back to the underground." They seem to gravitate toward that darkness. They're like, they always have like this self-loathing, and they're like, "I just need to be in the dark all the time." But yeah, it's nuts. It's so well done.
No.
Yeah, if Wilson didn't win an Eisner or 2 or 3, then something's wrong. That's just how strong this was. Yeah. And you're exactly right, man. The artwork is sparse, but the interiors and exteriors of buildings are done perfectly. There's just the right amount of detail in every panel. When he has to go abstract, he abstract works perfectly. The faces are perfect.
And I think it all works just like you're saying. And what it does is it takes this story about these teenagers who are supposed to be gods and grounds them in the real world in a really firm way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you know that world they're in. You can kind of almost it almost allows you to connect to the characters even that much more.
Yeah. I mean, come on, you're a teenager, right? How many of us as teenagers knew what the fuck we wanted to do, right? And now to throw them with this godlike power and be like, okay, hey, you have this ability for 2 years and then you're gonna die. So what's a teenager gonna do, right? It's like, well, shit, I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I want. I only got 2 years, but I got all this power. People love me. Why would I, be good in a sense? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I want. So it's interesting.
Yeah, because we're talking about like the color. I want to show this, like, because I showed that off. So you get like the pencils with a little bit of the flats, and then you get like just the, just his progression, like to color. So it's inks, flats, colors, lettering, but yeah, that's the inks, which are awesome.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the coloring, it's just so well done. So then we get the big reveal at the end of this volume. So we see Minerva's the one that actually like kills Sekhmet, like when she's trying to kill Persephone. And we get this reveal of her. We see a reveal of just the top of her head. And we're like, what the heck? And we come up and we find out that and she's talking to somebody, and we see the heads of the others that like Anarchy took their heads, and they're still alive. And
what the head?
Yeah, I mean,
and she leaves them with "I am Anarchy."
Yeah. Which, like, okay, I did not see coming. I won't claim that, but in hindsight, looking at her design, should have seen coming. Plus, we saw the little girl from the 1920s before, like, and it never even registered that how much they looked alike until, like, you get this, and it's like, so what did you guys think of that reveal? Did anybody see that coming? Because I did not. I will fully admit I did not see that coming.
No, that caught me. I was like, wait, what? Even her, that first part where you see that the half head Sekhmet is there on the floor, and she comes over and picks it up, and you're like, what the hell is she doing here? Like, I thought she was like terrified, and she was like learning how to like kill and all stuff. and then all of a sudden, like she's actually talking to somebody. Like, who the hell is she talking to? And then you see the heads, and you're like, what the hell? It was like, and that whole, oh, I am. It's like, wait, what the hell? It's like, okay. It's like, yep, did not see that one. I was like, all right, good.
Well, I love how, like, because I totally feel like Lucifer. Like, am I the only one who didn't see that coming?
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
That was awesome. It would be
totally
Lucifer. It would be Lucifer to say that too. It's like, wait,
So, and that's, that leads us right into Volume 7, which is really, we get what the Great Darkness is, and all of this is brought about because this one person is trying to live forever. Like, so what did you think about the reveal that the Great Darkness is just her dying? Like, that she's trying to avoid, that she's been selling them on this whole time. What did you guys think of that? Right. See if I get my camera focused.
Well, what I'm getting is how 7 starts out with the previous incarnation.
The original incarnation.
You get to see that explained.
Yep,
Yeah.
the original, yep.
And how Anaki's being or essence or part of her consciousness is transferred into the next, avatar or persona, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly well done. But what gets me, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, I think that this present incarnation, there's 2 or 3 of them that are a little too self-aware.
Yeah.
And even though they're still blundering in the dark, they're a little. All right, if you remember in this volume, she says, when she's telling her daughter in the first encounter to continue to run and I'll confront my sister, she's like, well, in 1,000 years, hopefully we'll figure it out. Well, it took many multiples of that for something to happen. But apparently it's happening in this incarnation.
At least they're leading you to believe that this is the one that's gonna like F it up. It's where they're leading you to believe. So basically, just the shorthand of the story is we see these 2 sisters that lived 6,000 years ago that had some connection and some control over these gods, like the ability to bring them there. And there was an older sister and a younger sister, and the younger sister decides she doesn't want to die. She wants to live forever. And she figures out how to use the heads of these gods. And there's basically a cycle that she's going through. And she is sort of, because you see that whole thing, because you see the flashback to the 20s, and she is sort of dying each time and then being reincarnated in another body. And, but the Great Darkness is just her having to be dead and that she's trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. The 2 sisters kind of they play a game to lay out the rules of how this is going to go. Like the one trying to thwart each other, one trying to make sure she gets to live forever, and the other one trying to make sure she doesn't, and doesn't take advantage of these gods. But this Anarchy has been killing kids, giving them power and killing them for 6,000 years.
That's a lot of baggage.
And we get this, like, I'm trying to find, like, the pages we were talking about before we went on the air. We get the breakdown of her, like, every 90 years, for pages. Like, we just get pages of this, of her basically taking these kids' heads.
But I like that I like how they showed a little bit of variation.
Yeah, like, it wasn't always easy. Like, sometimes,
some of them,
different countries, different continents.
Yeah, it always happened. It not always happened in the same spot, and I mean, this just keeps going on.
It was all over. It was different. Like you said, different continents, different places, and you can see. It was weird. I want to say there was sometimes where it wasn't always a conflict, right? Sometimes there was the hugging and stuff like that. They were like, "Oh, I miss you," or something. So it was strange, at those points and stuff like that. It's like, okay, there was some that were like, "All right, I agree with what needs to happen," or something like that, or whatever, and they just kind of agreed to it. There was some that obviously fought back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely interesting to see that and to see the development of the story and essentially the game that came out and the rules that they put in place for this. And they each kind of like took turns as to what rules get put in place and stuff like that. It's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, which was kind of strange. But yeah, it was interesting to see that exchange and the agreement on what is going to be a rule and stuff like that. But yeah, it was definitely jarring and unnerving to see that they're like, yeah, that's all right. We'll figure it out. People are going to die for, thousands of years, whatever, So it's just interesting that they were just like, we'll play fast and loose with people's lives. We don't give a shit.
And I think
I was like, okay. But yeah, it was definitely enlightening to see that. And it's like, okay, it shed some light on what's actually happening here and stuff. And obviously you can see Anaki's end game is like, well, end game to not end basically.
Minerva's in game, but yeah. It's like, well, but Los, here's the deal. That's just mimicking real life. Yeah. What is the great lesson of history? That to those in power, human life is just a cheap, abundant, natural resource.
Yeah. Well,
exactly. She says that line that just really it just underlines how cold she is. She's like, and when she says basically, I've killed my family, I've killed those I love, I can kill a bunch of children.
Yeah.
She just says it so like nonchalant in a way that
she's like, I killed loved ones, I killed family, I killed lovers. It's like, kids. Okay.
Well, she goes, "Oh, sister, you do not know the role you have chosen. You'll live to regret this." And she goes, "Perhaps, but I will live to regret it."
Yep.
And it's
she's like, "I don't care. I'm just gonna live."
Yeah, and you also get in here the one time that she failed to get 4 heads, and you get the pages of for 90 years she was dead until she reincarnated again with the next cycle. Because the cycle didn't necessarily end. We get how the cycle is actually going to end, sort of. It's like she leaves her clue, like the sister puts a twist in there, but it's also clear that the sister knows that's not actually how it's going to end. Like, which we'll get to as we get later into this. Like we talk about Laura's path a little bit, which I want to talk about kind of next. But yeah, like. So yeah, Minerva is just Aniki, like the younger version, but I love the scene like from the 20s, like when
that one cover of that little girl was awesome. When she's like all bloody, like I love the fact that they include all the covers and all the extra covers. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was look how crazy her eyes are.
Yeah,
like.
But it's funny too how she manipulated that whole scene, right? It's like, the 4 gods were there, the 4, and like, okay, we need to take each other out, and those are going to be the 4, and we know, and she's like, yeah, I can't do it, and she's crying. He's like, oh no, don't worry about it. She's like, it's like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, and then you get the the reveal of her covered in blood and just like the twisted eyes, like, okay,
like coming out of the gym. Like,
yeah,
it's very, very. That reminds me of Carrie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I love how, like, at the end, like, where she's getting ready to do it, and she's like, I'm not sure, like, the old version of her is like, I'm sure I'm not ready yet, and they're like, we do this every time, and she just kills the old version of herself so she can reincarnate. She's just like, we go through this every time.
She's like, I'm not sure about this. I don't know how I feel. It's like, all right, you're done. It's like, okay.
So, but yeah, we get that she's trying to play the game against this old guy now, like who with Aniki's didn't know the full thing. So she's like trying to manipulate him. He's trying to like get the answers for himself so he can live and keep this power. So yeah, we get that whole dynamic, but we also, we didn't talk about it. Like, I think we're 40 minutes in. I want to spend the rest of the time talking about Laura in these 2 volumes. Unless you guys have anything else you want to say about this part.
Yeah, go for it.
So at the end of volume 6, we get the reveal where she's telling Cassandra, she's like, I said I'd do anything. I killed my parents. I killed my sister. And she did. Like early in the book, she just kept saying she'd do anything for the power, for everything.
Power, yep.
And we see like the whole time the way she's behaved, like she's been unhappy with it. Like we see why. She has tremendous guilt.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Like her perspective and where the journey she goes on in these two volumes. I'm going to start with Unruly this time, I think.
Well, I think as she ages and comes to realize as Anarchy starts to take hold more, the guilt lessens.
Oh, I was talking about Laura. I was talking about like not the little girl, not Minerva.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're okay. I was talking about Laura talking about her guilt for her parents because she like said she would do anything to be a god.
Yeah, see, I don't get that. And that's a common plot trope. And I've even heard people express it in real life. If something's my fault, I'll own it. But if something's a coincidence, I don't feel any guilt over it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was a coincidence. Yeah. Her wishing for the powers or wanting it secretly, it doesn't mean that's not why her parents died. Her parents died because Anarchy's rhymes with punt.
Yeah, but from her perspective is if she had never got the powers, Anarchy wouldn't have been there. None of it happens. If she doesn't like go out of her way to be a part of that, try to be a part of that world, none of it happens. So that's why
I understand that, but she's just wishing it isn't what gave her the power.
Yeah, but she's 16, 17 years old. You know, like the perspective you have now, did you have that perspective as a kid? Like
probably even worse. I've only managed to gain empathy in the last 10 years that I've been sober. When I was a kid, I was pretty cold-hearted.
Yeah.
Now I'll cry watching an Alpo commercial.
I mean, but we see like how, like, yes, Laura killed Anarchy, like because she's the one that killed her family. Like in her little rage thing. But we see that she actually has the chance to kill Sekhmet and she doesn't. Like, and then Sekhmet's gonna kill her before like Minerva does. But like she can't go through with it. Like she is softer than anybody. For the Destroyer, she's actually like she likes to put up the front, but she's a wreck. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
She's the protagonist. She's the most fleshed out character.
Right.
Yeah, she's the most human.
Yeah.
Because she's been a character of, oh, woe is me. This is what I really want. And then she gets it. And then she's like, this isn't what do I really want this? Yeah. And it's that human, that struggle to like find meaning, to find your purpose or what your, what gives you fulfillment. And she's just like a pebble awash in the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the whole, be careful what you wish for kind of deal, right? Mm-hmm. She wished for this so much, and she's like, I would give anything for it. And then once she got it, she felt like she did give everything for it, right? Her parents are gone, everything's gone. Her life is just fucking turned upside down. She doesn't know what's going on. She knows that she only has 2 years to go. And it's just, it threw her for a loop because, again, it's one of those things where you can wish for it and it's fine. You're like, you wish, and you're just like, whatever. You keep rolling with it and you just keep wishing. But once you get it, you're like, oh shit, what do I do with it now? It's like, and then it turns out that it's not everything it was cracked up to be. You're like, oh crap. Like, yeah, this is not what I want. And she's fighting herself the entire time, right? She's, even as far as just a name goes, right? And she gets to a point where she's like, I don't even want to be called Persephone anymore, right? As like, I'm Laura. But yeah, it was that inner struggle of her, and she struggled even before she, attained these powers and stuff like that. She was already struggling with herself. So to gain power and stuff like that, did it change anything? It's like, no, she's still struggling with herself. And again, it's a teenager. Like that's what they do.
Well, it's weird, man. Have any of y'all actually mentally aged since about 14 or 15? Sure, you make better decisions, and you can see the long view. And like I said earlier, I picked up empathy and wanting to be a better person. But I still read comics. I'm obsessed by them. I'm still the same in my head.
I got toys behind me. I got.
I mean, dude, I can relate to myself at 8 years old, jumping on my bicycle, excited because I have $2 or $3 in my pocket, and I'm going to the comic book store.
Yeah.
And I can, it's 3 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, whatever. I'm home from school, and I can sit there for 3 or 4 hours and spend 3 or 4 hours figuring out how I'm going to spend $2 or $3. I mean,
there are actual grown-ups in the world. I meet them occasionally, and I envy them.
I know.
I know. I feel the same way.
I don't know. I feel like that might be a grass is always greener type of scenario.
I don't envy them.
I still feel like I am not on that level yet. Like I haven't crossed the threshold as being an adult, right? I'm in my 40s, and I still don't feel like I made it there yet. I'm like,
look, I wake up and I go to school every day, and I teach kids, and I play the role, right? And the kids are funny because they find me, and I have good kids. That in the old days, teachers were mortified if a student found your phone number or where you lived, you'd have to move. You'd have to leave town. You'll see on my stream, on my channel, kids I know who they are. They pop in once in a while, and they see things like, "Oh, you're the best person on YouTube," or "I love your channel," or "You have cool comics," and they'll literally ask me like, "Mister, how many subs you got? How many subs you got now?" And I have to be like, "Stop talking about comic books. Let's learn science." And it hurts me inside when I see it, but I have to tell you.
They're just using that as a way to try to distract you in class.
But let me ask you this, Todd. I never thought about it. Do you ever use some of the superhero scenarios to illustrate it?
I totally do. I mean, I will use them in examples. I have a spinner rack in my room with graphic novels. I mean, I have posters. I don't hide the fact that I love comics.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
At all. The first thing you do when you walk in my room is see a poster of Thanos with his hands on little Gamora's shoulders.
That's twisted, sir. I like it.
I want to understand, I love you guys, but don't try me.
So
it's that whole thing of but I still on my mind, I'm like, man, I want to go to it's Wednesday. I want to go to the comic store. I want to get my new books. It's Wednesday. It's new comic day. I'll teach all morning. I'll teach for 3 or 4 hours, and then it's lunchtime, and I can I can watch 10 minutes of a cartoon and eat my lunch. It's literally, I found myself today watching a Brave and the Bold episode, and I'm like, man, I love this stuff.
Nice.
So I'm sorry I sidetracked us.
Sorry, you're good.
We're on a tangent.
So, get back to Laura. So, what do we think of where she ends up at this? That she gives it all up, stops being Persephone. As if that seems that easy, but she appears to have no.
I felt like it happened off camera.
It did happen off camera.
Yeah, she just came back and she's like. I thought they made it look like she had a procedure done.
So that was different than stopping being Persephone. I think those are two different
right.
things.
That was I don't know. I kind of connected, I guess that, but
I think the decision to do that was a huge
part of the same decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she comes back.
Persephone. If you look at the last page.
Yeah,
she has
But she did that before she became Persephone.
Yep.
So that was, if you remember, that's how Volume 1 ends. And
it was a little flame. This was a bigger flame. This was
a much bigger flame.
And that was the thing at the end of this too, when she did that, and she's like, "Okay, so what am I?" Right? It's okay, if I'm not Persephone, right? If I gave that up somehow she just gave it up because they even couldn't track her on the radar, right? They were like, "Whoa, we're not seeing anything. Like she's just a person. She's she's just a human. Like she has no power."
Couldn't find her anymore. Like
no, they couldn't find it. They were like, "Oh, she must be in the underground." They're like, "No, we can't find her at all. She's gone." They were like, "Wait, how's she gone?" It was like, "She's gone. She just gave it up." They're like, You can't give it up. Like I don't.
You know those others that were like her originally that were striving, just wanted it so bad, and then they got like a taste of it through Wooten, and then like their contempt for her choosing to give it up.
Yeah.
And
I like their snotty little attitude, especially the guy when he confronts her.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. He's like, I've wanted this, and you're just gonna give it up. It's like, this is ridiculous. It's like, no. it's the grass is always green on the other side, right? She had it, and she's like, hey, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. I don't care. I'm giving it up. It's assumed that she, had the abortion. Did she? I don't know, but they make that assumption, right? They make that assumption that she got a procedure because she came out of the place, but
and they clearly want you to think she did.
So
that was what I took as that's the kind of caveat that like cancels out the game.
Exactly. So I wasn't exactly sure. I'm like, because again, we've already had 3 twists, so I'm like,
well, you go back to you got to go back to what the sister says. What final man? Oh, she talks about when she's talking to her grandson when they're fleeing. She goes, "Oh, a simple lie.
Yep,
it will lead her astray." And she's talking about the lie that, like, if her God, the one that takes on Persephone, has a child, like the cycle ends or whatever.
Yeah.
The only hope is that one of the children will find a real way out of the trap.
Yeah.
So. I don't think having a kid is actually the way it is. It's not.
She doesn't. I don't think she needs to. But I'm not sure if she actually gave up the kid. Maybe she still kept it. I don't know. But that's not the. It's not how it is. Having a kid.
Not what's gonna
it's not having a kid. I'm wondering if her choosing not to have powers and giving up just the role of it is what is it? Because
potentially,
who's going to give up? How many people have given up the power? Right? You get this power. Who gives it up, right? Or if not, maybe they got terminated before they were even able to get to that point. And she's like, hey, I'm giving this shit up. And it's like, uh-oh. Like, wait, is that what somebody was supposed to do? Like, wake up from this and be like, hey, I don't even want this shit anymore. It's like, so I'm wondering if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, again.
I think that's a step because it's too early. Like, if that's the thing, then they just gave it away in 7. There's 2 volumes left. So I feel like but I think that's a step in the right path that she has to take. So we're coming up on our hour. Is there anything
going on,
else? TJ, what's going on?
You guys giving peanuts to everybody.
This panel where Anarchy finds out that Laura's pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually see that's genuine shock and fear on her face. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This can't happen. This can't happen.
Yeah, make this.
And I wanted to bring up one other thing. The whole where Ball is making his confession.
Oh, the Ball
shit Anarchy convinced him he had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Great Darkness, which is just something she made up.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was messed up.
Like when we get that he is Ball Hammond or whatever.
Yep, Ball Hammond.
Like
not the other one, not the lightning god or whatever.
Yeah, not the lightning god.
No, he's the fire one.
He's the fire one.
Has to sacrifice children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy little twist that again Wooten or Mira, whatever, the son actually had to create something to kind of like contort his powers and kind of like limit them.
Well, to make him appear to be lightning and not fire is really what he's doing. And then,
but he also had to diminish his power, right? He had to like actually, it was actually lessened to make it that, because his true power is actually a lot stronger. He even said it. He's like, I hate the fact that I have this lesser power. He's like, I'm actually stronger. And he's like, oh shit. And he was already pretty damn strong.
Yeah, and I mean, you get like when he lets her go, and then he just burns the whole thing to the ground, like because his secret is out. But he lets her go because she may or may not be carrying his child.
And let's give it up for Laura. Laura sleeps with everybody in this thing.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Bless her heart.
She did not care. She's like, I don't give a shit.
she was sowing her oats, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
parties with everyone.
Yeah, that's it.
What's the best part about being bisexual? You got twice as many chances to get lucky.
there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get that big reveal. We also at the end, like in many ways, like maybe we get the Morrigan versus Baphomet, like, which is maybe one of the sadder, more real things. Is like they were in love, but it was not a healthy relationship at all.
No.
And like, and she ends up, he can't do it, but she ends up killing him. But then she ends up sacrificing herself to save him. Like, but then he's basically gonna like, they're just like in a death path. I mean, he takes her body to the underground, and he's just gonna like. It's clear to me that there's gonna be a funeral pyre, and both of them, like her body and him, and they're just gonna like, yeah, that he's going with her, and it's just kind of that's just that whole story of those two is just sad as all get out, and just
Well, she's got three different aspects.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you fall in love with someone with schizophrenia.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was messed up because they even had a rocky relationship when they were just regular humans, right? Before they turned, they already had a kind of rocky relationship.
They weren't healthy for each other even beforehand.
Yeah. So the fact that they went to this other, thing, and now it's like, okay, we have powers, and it came to a head. And like you said, you have, three personalities basically, and you're dealing with one that has compassion, one that has none, one that's like in the middle, and you're like, it was just too much. He was getting beat, like she was actually beating the shit out of him. So it was definitely a rocky relationship. But I think he felt like there was a commitment or something that he was just tied to her, right? And it's like, hey, I can't leave her no matter what, right? I mean, we've been through so much, and he's like, I just can't do it, right? I just can't leave her. I don't know if it was like the Stockholm syndrome or whatever the hell it was, but he just couldn't do it. At least I guess her better side or her more compassionate side actually came through and was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice myself for him, right? To show that she actually did care for him, right?
Well,
yeah, it was just, that whole thing was just messed up.
Well, their fight, and you want to talk about really cool art and storytelling in comics. Like, they're, like, the way they did this, like, top, middle, and bottom is them fighting. And then they have two panels, these little images in the middle of it on all these pages, as this goes on for pages, of their first meeting at a bar. Yeah. Like, and how they basically fell in love, like, with, and you get him at the end not being able to finish her off. And of course, she then, like, kills him.
And her words, ha! Ha! When she, I've won, but oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant visual storytelling. You're exactly right. I'm glad you brought
it. I mean, because there's no word. I mean, there's no words for 8 pages other than the ha at the end.
No. But you can see, like you said, you can see the battle, but you can also see their. So it's kind of poetic, right? They show the first meeting and then the last, right? Yeah. But they show it simultaneously, right? So it's like as they're battling, you're kind of like reliving the first meeting. Now this is the end. You know what I mean? It was very, very well done.
Mm-hmm.
For what we've all agreed is a quick read, there's nothing simple about this at all.
No.
Nope.
I will say, like, not that I dislike, because I enjoyed like the first volume. Like, I thought it was fun, but it was like it felt like it was going to be like Lucifer was going to be important, and they killed her off, and I was like, okay. And I'll be honest, Laura was kind of annoying at the beginning. like this story hits, like, I didn't know if the story was really going to grab me, and like at this point, it's like I said, if I had the other 2 volumes, I would have just kept going. Like, it just. I feel like it was a little bit of a slow burn, but boy, once it kind of like Ball, once it got going, like it was, you know.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what? I brought these 2 with me up here to Atlanta. I'm glad the last 2 are on my shelf, or I'd burn through it again.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, well, we're just went past the hour mark. You guys got anything else from these you want to talk about, or maybe your theories for how this is going to wrap up? Because I'll be honest, like, other than I feel like Laura's going to figure out a way to bring this whole thing to an end, maybe unintentionally, like, but I don't even know if that's really the case. I just feel like that's what they've set up here. Like, with telling us the original story, is that's what they set up. I don't know if that's actually the case or not, but what do you guys think? Where is this going? Does anybody have a clue? Because I don't. I'll be honest, after these 2 volumes.
I can't wait to see the face-off when Minerva and Wooten finally are against each other.
Oh, when Wooten finally, does Wooten ever figure out, does she kill him before he figures out who she is and what she's about? That's the only real question.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised she hasn't just like, because I think she still feels like she needs him for a little bit longer, but like, I'm surprised she hasn't just like his head, like when he's not looking.
The only thing you can be sure of is there'll be more dead gods.
Yeah.
Well,
There's not many left. That was the thing I did want to mention is like all the gods that were gods when Laura was wanting to be a god, other than Ball and Minerva, I guess, are gone. Like, and I guess Murmur, but because Wooten was never a god, he was just stealing his son's power. But she didn't even know about him. But like everybody else, because her and Cassandra were not. Like, so, I mean, it's been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride.
It's definitely, like I said, it took a hard left. I have no clue, but I at the same time, I almost don't want to speculate as to where it goes. Right, I just want to go along for the ride. Yeah. But I definitely like where they went with it. Right, they it was completely out of left field, but I'm with you where it's they're gonna find a way to break the cycle, but it's gonna be ass backwards, right? Like they're gonna fall into it. It's not gonna be something that they planned for and they like manipulate it. It's just gonna be like it just happens and they just happen to do it, right? It wasn't like one of those things where like, oh, let's plan for it and do this. It's like we just happen to do it just because we didn't care anymore or something like that. You know what I mean? It's gonna be one of those carefree things like, oh shit, we don't want this no more. And it's like, and then they just stopped it for some reason. Like, hey, did we win? Did we do it? Because nobody really knows the game, right? So,
only one person knows the game.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Unruly?
I can neither confirm nor deny your theory.
I plead the fifth. Nice.
Well, I'll be honest. All I really want for it is like, I'm just looking forward to reading it. I'm interested to see how it ends. I mean, I can see, like I said, to me, the sort of the obvious ending is that they figure out a way to break the cycle, which means maybe that's not where it's going. But I really like Minerva is such a little biznatch that I just don't even want to like. It's just like, oh, and I love one of my favorite interactions. I'll have to say, like, Cassandra is like maybe my favorite character just because I've talked about this before. She's me in like every group that I've ever been a part of. I'm always the one that's like, fucking, what are you doing? Like, but B, like, I love the thing where she's trying to send her a text message and trying to we don't trust Minerva, so we're trying to manipulate information out of her, and they're totally getting manipulated like that whole time. It's just like, I don't know, that whole almost every interaction she has makes me laugh. So that's just all right. Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. Like I said, I have ordered volumes 8 and 9, so we're probably about a month. Hopefully they'll come soon, but I got some other shows scheduled between now and then. Right now, my plan is for this to be the final show of season 1 of the indie show.
Oh, nice.
And before I do this will be the final one. So sometime in April, which will be almost exactly a year of that I've been doing this, we're going to wrap with this up. So that is my plan for coming back to this. And then I'm going to have a thing where I'm going to have people help me choose what I'm going to read next. I already got a huge list. And so
Fear Agent is
on the list, Unruly. It is on the list. Now I'm going to narrow it down a little bit because it's 60-some different stories.
That list was ridiculous.
But I'm going to...
Agent is like a roller coaster. You're going... And then the whoosh turns right back into an even higher peak for the whole damn series.
Yeah, and it's not very long. It was where is it? I got that.
So I'm really just said that he wants to be on that show.
Yeah, I already knew that.
Fear Agent, y'all. The art is solid, and the story. It's Remender. Remender.
Okay, yeah. I was going to ask
the most fun he's ever had in his life trying to recreate a 30s pulp science fiction story.
Okay. I need to check that out. I'm definitely going to read that one.
Yeah, so that is definitely one of the options. It is. Let's see.
One of the 60.
Well, and actually, I've already started trying to narrow it down a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely in there.
I know you had a list, and then you got like 10 more.
Well, yeah, how many are on the list? 58 is currently different titles.
Oh, shit.
So you weren't exaggerating.
No.
It's not a bad thing to have a lot of things to read.
Oh, no, it's not. And then, my goal is to like do a poll and that kind of stuff and have people help me vote and that kind of thing, and like have some categories. I'm going to pull like a really long one and like some medium length ones and a short couple of one shots or something, and like have people kind of help me narrow it down.
Well,
but
I'm in again. So you let me know if you're short on any of the shows, and I'll read some books.
So yeah, that's where the indie show's going. We got next week we have The Valiant. Daymares and White Whale. The week after we got Volume 2 of Something's Killing the Children.
The only 2 people in the community that like Valiant.
Well, yeah, I was gonna try to get somebody else who hadn't read it like me, and then I was lazy about asking people.
I think Southern Comic Geek is like one of the other person that like.
Yeah, he would be the other one. I could probably still get him to like.
There's no more people that like Valiant.
So,
hey, is Lock and Key on the list?
Lock and Key is a potential one on the list.
That's a good read.
Yeah.
So right now, this is what I have right now, and I'll give this to you guys right now because I have like of the 58, I've pulled 25 into like 5 groups of 5. I have very long series, like over 100 issues.
Yep.
Of which I'm going to pull one. Because I have Fables right now. I'm going to do the second half of Fables and start another long one. Those series are like that I've kind of tentatively picked out. I don't know if this will be the final list that people pick from or not, or I may narrow it down further. 100 Bullets, Strangers in Paradise, the current TMNT run, Invincible, and Walking Dead.
Okay.
Are
Invincible, oh my God, Invincible.
I have the feeling everyone's going to like, I have the feeling I already know where that one's going, but those are the 5 that I currently
has, like, you have timing with the Invincible show that's they dropped the trailer for.
Yeah.
And then I have like 50 to 100 issues, like what I could put in my long series. And I have like Transmetropolitan, Why the Last Man, Preacher, Sandman, and
Sandman.
Lumberjanes are the 5 that are in
Three
there.
of those are 3 of my favorites. Preacher,
Yep.
Preacher,
Transmetropolitan, Preacher, and Wire.
Why the Last
Yeah.
Man.
I figured that one. My guess is that one. If I put it to a community
Sandman.
vote, it's going to be Y or Sandman.
Or
It's
Sandman.
probably where that's going to go, but we'll see. Medium, which is like 30 to 50-ish kind of range, 25 to 50. Paper Girls, Fear Agent, Lock and Key, Black Science, and Deadly Class.
Okay.
And
Paper
then
Girls is a lot of fun, and it's a super quick read.
yeah. And then like I have some ongoing that are currently ongoing stories that I might add one of those, like Department of Truth, Once and Future. We only find them when they're dead, and I may open that to see if people have other suggestions there. And then I have like some short ones, Old Guard, Watchmen, Alienated, which John just raved about, which was a recent one, and Sheriff of Babylon, which are like either 1 or 2 volume kind of things. And then I have
Alienated is pretty short, right? I mean, they only had
it's
they
like,
only had like
a one shot.
yeah, it's not very long, right?
So, no, I have a
8
few of
issues.
those mixed in, and I already have like things that I'm going to read for season 2. Is I'm going to read Ascender. Fables we're going to finish. I'm going to keep going with Something Is Killing the Children. I'm going to read Southern Bastards, but that's only 4 volumes, so that's too short.
That one's short.
And then I was planning to read Die. Like
That was a
work
good
that
one.
in at some point. But
That was a good one.
yeah. So, and that's kind of an ongoing.
Yeah.
And then at some point, either this season or next season, I'm going to try to squeeze in the 2 volumes of Lady Killer. But that's again one show. That's a one show read.
Yeah.
Gore saying Strangers in Paradise and Sandman.
Sandman, yep.
Strangers in Paradise,
Good.
dude. I don't know if that's a journey I want to start. That is. I mean, that's fate. It'd take quite a few shows, and it's. If you're gonna want to read a Terry Moore series, Rachel Rising.
Rachel Rising.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
It hadn't been one that I put in here yet. It's not any longer than Invincible. Invincible's like 150 issues or something.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's Strangers in Paradise isn't for everyone.
No, well, I could see that. So
Good thing you stretched this a little longer because you know.
there you go. I
got,
kept TJ happy.
TJ was on you for a minute there.
Yeah, I
He's like,
know.
"Whoa."
Hey, he was on me. So you guys got anything you want to pitch coming up? Los, you got anything coming?
I don't have anything at the moment. I do have like a local like comic show coming to town.
Nice.
It's like a 1-day kind of deal coming in like early April, like the first weekend in April. I'll be going to that with my brother. So hopefully we can get some footage of that and stuff like that, and maybe we'll get some pickups there. But as far as I know, I do have my CGC books actually started moving. I believe they've been graded. They're past the scheduling point, and they say, you know, the next stage or whatever. So hopefully those will be coming back in the next week or 2, and I'll hopefully be doing an unboxing of those guys. So a little nervous on those because some of the books in there have kind of spiked since I sent them in. So especially Something's Killing Children 3. So I'm excited for those.
Nice. Unruly, my man, what you got coming up?
Absolutely nothing.
Other than hanging out with me for like several of these, because you're on Fables, you got another show of Fables, you got another show of this, and then we're trying to get Reborn worked in there somewhere.
Nice.
So
And Reborn,
very nice.
Reborn's a quickie.
yeah, that's just
Yeah.
So,
It was a miniseries, right? It wasn't.
yeah, it's just one volume.
Five
But yeah,
issues.
it's like 5 issues,
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. So, Todd, I think you have something later tonight. Actually,
Yeah, I got something.
I think he might have an auction, maybe.
It's not an auction. Tonight's not my auction night. Tonight's teacher's lounge.
The teacher
Oh,
lounge.
Teacher's Lounge. That's right. Yeah.
Teacher's
Not
lounge.
an auction night. I try not to sell anything.
You notice he said try not to.
I try.
He won't sell. He said he's trying not to.
So somebody might pop in the chat and be like, "Hey, you have this?"
We'll try to bid or claim, but I'll be like, no. The Comics in the Mind shuts them down pretty quick too.
Nice.
We're not selling it. She's not selling. Leave him alone. But no, Teachers Lounge is tonight at 9 p.m. Just general me and Comics in the Mind. Sometimes we have other people pop on, join us.
I think get him on one of these reading shows sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
So Teachers, that's tonight at 9 p.m. on my channel. Tomorrow I'll actually be on Comic Head 84's auction. He's got an auction on his channel. I think D-Runk's going to be there, and Immortal Biggie Shack will be there.
Nice.
And then Saturday I'll have my auction on my channel.
Nice.
At 6 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, a few auctions in there, but not the next one.
Nice.
Not tonight. No auctions tonight.
You guys ever need a place to sell books? You let me know.
All right. Well, you definitely you got a good place to sell books. So
Definitely.
Hey, in all kidding aside, man, people have been so awesome and supportive and helping the channel grow that I basically am running my 1,000 subscriber contest, and I set it up to go to April 10th, and I hit 1,000. I was at 920 or 930, and I hit 1,000 within a week of the contest.
Wow, nice.
So I've already hit, and it's really it's just a testament to how awesome the community is and how everybody's just embrace me as a seller, and I'm just I try to do right by everybody and take care of everybody.
Well, that's a good way to do it, man.
The one time I jumped on an auction, I only sold 4 books, and I won them all back. I'm not a seller. And speaking of channel growth, what was your first contest, JP? Wasn't it 300?
The first time I did a contest, 250, I think, is what I did.
You almost got 1,900 subs now.
I know.
You're slowly taking over the world.
I don't know about that, but yes, I'm at 1874.
You know what? And I saw that too, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, didn't he just get to 1,200? I'm like, I looked again. I was like, it's 18. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I'm like,
it was 15. I did 15 after the first of the year. It was
you find that you just hit certain months that you just explode. There's certain months or
what's happened is, and I'll tell you guys, and we'll keep going for just a couple minutes here at the end, but because I'm going to talk about next is on Saturday, the things I have coming up. Saturday I do the look back. Sunday I do cash or trash, and then Sunday night I do the whatever report, and then Monday we have Comigories on John's channel. So that's what I have coming up. But since the first of the year, the look back and cash or trash have went to a different level in terms of views. Basically they both get between 1,500 and 2,000 views now.
Yeah.
And so I pick up 30th to 40 subs every weekend. I pick up 3 or 4 during the week is all. I get 1 a day during the week. But every Saturday and Sunday, because YouTube is promoting those videos and I'm getting so many views off those, I'm picking up 30 to 40 subs a week.
Nice.
Off of those 2 videos.
Yeah, and you're getting the last one you had was 70 people live, right?
I had the last one I got almost to 70. The one before that is when I got to 83 when John was doing the count in the thing.
Yeah, I was in that one. In that one.
Yeah,
Stash or trash, listen. I either leave my house early Sunday morning so I can be here in Atlanta to watch it, or I wait until after it and then just get here late. I've had to deal with a couple on the road, and I'm pissed that I can't say anything. I can only listen.
Well, and it's funny because it's it'll get I had obviously my peak audience is live audience was 83, but it'll have by midday Monday that gets rewatched, and it's usually 45-50 minutes, and it gets rewatched a lot. So.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's right. That's right. Always listen to TJ.
Always listen to TJ.
I'll tell you, even the auctions, my Saturday auctions, they get rewatched after a couple days. I'm shocked by, because to me, I mean, I wouldn't watch an auction that's passed.
No.
It gets views, and then I'll see 26, 27 hours worth of watch time, and it kind of blows me away. Because I found like I was getting about from about 500 subs to about 800. I got it about 100 a month for 3 months.
Oh wow, that's good.
And then February, I had my most subs ever. It was like 153, I think.
Oh wow,
Nice.
that's
And
good.
because it's just I have that my auction we've been going for like 5 to 10 hours, so it's just and we keep going because there's people. I mean, like last night last Saturday was the biggest one we've ever had in terms of I think we topped out at 104 people.
Holy crap.
And
Yeah, that's a lot of subs in a month because, like, I think my high month is like 170, like is 150, 170 somewhere in there for a subs in a month. So that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. I think my high was like 6.5.
I think I was getting like anywhere between 600 and 800 views on the auction, and the last one was like 1,100.
Wow, that's good, man.
Holy shit. Very good.
I don't know. It's just I don't know if it's
All right, well,
stay that way or what, but we'll see.
we've slipped into after show talk for TJ. So I am going to wrap this up. So maybe somebody will rewatch our Wicked and Divine discussion. Looking forward to getting back into
Definitely.
this when my volumes come in, and we will get these guys back on.
Yes.
And so I want to thank those that hung out with us, stayed around. TJ, Dennis, I know you came in late. We were done talking about Wicked and Divine by the time Dennis got here, but I appreciate you stopping in. Gore for being here the whole time also. Thank you, fellas, and we will catch you next time. Later, everybody.